And we are live. Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Fish Talk. Right before I introduce this gentleman next to me, I'm going to let you guys know first, thank you for joining the live stream. And anybody that's watching the replay, I always love to tell you guys, thank you for watching the replay. I really, really do appreciate that and everything. So like you guys see on the thumbnail, I got the one, the only, Rico. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun.
No, thank you for joining me, man. I really do appreciate you. You know, like I tell people, I know time is valuable, and you know, you giving me an hour of your time, and like the people watching us giving an hour of their time to come and watch the live stream. I really appreciate that. So before we get started, I want to say hi to a few people. That we got people in the chat. I can never say this name right. Midrule, how you doing?
Brittle, like brittle with an M.
Brittle, okay. Muppet, how you doing, Muppet? Patty, thank you for joining us. Michael, thank you for joining us. We got Jay Oliver, thank you for joining us. D Freeze Aquatic, thank you. And D Freeze is a great guy. We had him on here not too long ago. And Daniel, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. So as the notification goes out and people come, let's get to the basic. Where you from? Where you at? How many tanks you keeping right now?
Okay. Well, I've moved around a lot, always in the United States, obviously, but you know, outside of Chicago, Arizona. But the last 20 years, I've been in upstate New York, right on Lake Ontario. It's right outside the window here. There's an awesome breeze coming off the lake right now. It actually feels really good. Lived here for 20 years. You know, got 3 kids, 3 adult children. 2 of them still live at home. So as soon as they move out, I get to build a fish room. So I'm looking forward to that. And so right now I have just this little room. It's a little 15 by 15. It was my oldest son's bedroom. And I have 9 tanks in here now. My biggest is a 75 right here. And then there's a 55, but I've got 9 tanks in here, including a couple little 5 gallons. I've really only been keeping fish for less than a year. I was into it big time when I was a kid, but I stepped away from it for about 40 years. And after I retired, I got back into it. So it's been about a year that I've been keeping fish. And I really, you know, I don't know a lot right now, but my fish are happy and healthy, you know. Haven't really lost any. I haven't made any major mistakes yet. And you know, I keep a lot of different stuff, and you know, I'm looking to expand. I started with guppies, but I'm really looking to expand some other stuff. I can go through them if you want, or you know, if you would like me to tell you the basics of what I have.
Yeah, we're gonna go through that in just a second. Joe Munoz, how you doing? We got Joe Munoz, Vinoski Tanks. Thank you for joining us. Now, when you got into the hobby, what made you get back in?
That's a good question. And so I have some health issues, and I can't. So I'm a big nature guy. I used to hike, camp, kayak, you know, just all that stuff. That was my thing. Outdoors was what I love to do. And I have health issues now that don't let me do that kind of stuff anymore. And I'm getting old. You know, I'm old now. So you know, I couldn't really go out to nature, so I brought it inside with me. So I have plants all around. I've got my tanks and stuff. You know, I do a lot of bird watching right here from my windows. Like I said, the lake's there. So I've got back right behind my fat head. There's a back here in the corner. There's a spotting scope. So I set it up sometimes and look out the windows and stuff at the birds. So that's the main reason. I needed nature, so I had to bring it to me because I couldn't go to it anymore.
So what made you go fish instead of reptiles or birds? Because you know those are 2 other big, you know, keeping hobbies. Yeah. What made you go fish instead of bird? Because you know you like to do bird watching or reptile.
I did have birds before. When we lived in Arizona, I actually had a big aviary that was in our back porch with a misting system and everything. The birds were out there year round. It was pretty cool. I think I went with fish because I did have them when I was a kid, and I watched some. Oh, I remember what it was. I'm also really big into comic books, and there's a comic book writer. His name is Greg Pak, P-A-K. He was on Twitter, and I follow him on Twitter, and he posted a couple pictures of some of his fish tanks. I was like, man, I loved doing that when I was a kid, and I remembered that my kids had reptiles and mice and stuff when they were younger, and we still had that stuff in the basement. So I had one of the kids go get a 20-gallon, and I started researching, and I found a co-op, online, and started, following all the YouTubers and stuff. I got hooked. So I think it was really just because I had them as a kid and remembered how much joy they gave me when I was a kid.
Okay. Now, the co-op was the first channel you found?
Yeah. I think that's the case with a lot of people who co-op, just because they're so big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's so big, he rates higher, and but it's not a bad gateway to get people into the FishTube Fish Fam community.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of information on that channel, and a lot, on a lot of the different channels. There's a lot of great information. Do you feel you being able to watch on YouTube instead of the old ways where people just went to the society helped you become a better fish keeper faster?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what's weird about that? Now, I was an IT guy for 25 years, so technology's right up my alley. But I never, for any of my other hobbies, I never ever used YouTube as a learning tool. I used it for music or something, but something about fish tanks and keeping fish, it's a perfect medium for that. So yeah, I really did, getting involved with the Fish Fam really did help me learn a lot. And that's why I started my own channel, was because I wanted to find a way to give back to the Fish Fam. I mean, I do the super chats and all that kind of stuff when I go into live streams, but I wanted to find a way to give back because I've gotten so much. And you talked about the co-op earlier. I think something I really did like about him that was different than what I saw on other channels, he talked about other people. He talked about the Bob Steenfots and the Bentley Pascos and the KG Tropicals and all these other. He talked about those other channels, and it's sort of you said a gateway. That's a perfect way to say it. He really, exposed us to all these other channels. Where I think some other big channels aren't like that. They don't really want to. They want you just to focus on them, and I don't think the co-op is that way.
No, and you see, and on just YouTube in general, in every hobby or every topic you look at, a lot of the big channels are either that way or the other way. They do a lot of collaborations with other people, or they don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from studying just YouTube in general, because I kind of been looking at other channels and everything a little bit to understand how they do stuff. And you see that in everything, in gaming. You see that in the guys that even do the silly videos just for anything. Certain guys, they'll collaborate together, and then certain guys, it's just about them, So it's really what does the perfect person prefers, because we only know each other through videos, and some people are introverts, so they probably don't associate just because that's not in their nature. It's not like they mean to do it. Now, have you interacted with some of the different people in New York? Because you guys got a little group of people from New York, Jersey area. They do stuff.
I haven't very much. I deal more with the, and I haven't met anybody face to face in the Fish Fam. Not a single person. Not yet. I might. I'm going to my first fish swap here in June, just a couple of weeks, and I think I'm going to meet one of the guys there. Bottom Dweller Aquatics. I don't know if you've seen Angus around, but he's one of the New Yorkers. I haven't done much with any of the New Yorkers, actually. I seem to spend most of my time on YouTube with the Tennessee Fish Mafia. The Chattanooga Ed and Bob Kaler and James Fish Room Fever, Tennessee Aqua's in here. All of those guys are the ones I seem to hang out with the most. I would love to see, do stuff with New Yorkers and get involved. But again, back to the health issues, it's hard for me to travel and stuff too. So I'm a little limited on what I do in the real world. You know.
Now, which swap meet you going to?
It's in Canis. No, it's in. I was gonna say Canisteo. That's one of the other fish guys here in New York. It's just north of Syracuse. It's just north of Syracuse, New York. I can't remember the name. It's Cicero. It's in Cicero, New York. I think it's June 12th or June 13th. The Central New York Aquarium Society is putting it on. So I'm not in the group. I tried to join, and I don't know if they've shut down. They're just not doing much these days. So this will be a good opportunity to maybe meet the group and see if I can actually join and pay membership dues and do all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, because you got Beef Freeze not too far from you, right? He's in New York.
Albany and Saratoga. That's still a good. That's probably about 3 hours.
Because New York is big. People think just the city, and it's big.
Not Florida big, but it's a good size state.
It's a good size state, and the way it's shaped is kind of weird. So you know, going long ways upward, it could take a little bit of time.
And most people think New York. They think the city, right? Even I did when my wife said, "Well, we could move to New York." We were in Arizona. We were trying to decide where to move. We wanted to get out of Arizona. I'm from Chicago. We thought about moving up to that way. And so we took a month off. I don't know if you can hear the helicopters. We're right on the border. So Border Patrol goes by a few times a day. So now there's only 30 yards of land between me and Canada. There's 30 yards, and then there's water, and then Canada. So that's how close we are to the lake.
Now, have you ever been collecting right there in the lake?
Not fish, but plants, and I plan to this year. Again, it's only been a year, so last year I didn't really know about the collecting part of it, but I did check into our local laws and stuff. I can keep anything that washes up on our property at the high tide line. So, you're not going to see too many fish that way, but there's a lot of plants and driftwood and stuff like that I can legally pick up and keep in my tanks and stuff. But I do want to see what kind of native fish are out there this year and try the collecting. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I really would love to have a native tank. Yeah,
that'll be pretty neat to have, from that lake right there with native plants and native fish.
Yep.
That'll be really neat.
Everything right out of the bay or the lake right there. Oswego, Oswego's not too far, Rob. That's right up around the lake from us. We go there once in a while, actually. There's a comic book store up there we go to.
One Fish, Two Fishes in Rochester.
I don't think she does too much. There's also Ozzy and Tiffany, all in tanks. They sort of dropped off the map there. They're late last year, November, December, they were doing a lot of streaming and stuff. Ozzy was streaming with Rob93 on Wednesday nights. But I haven't seen them in a long time. They're also in Rochester.
And you got Michael is in New Jersey, and then you have those clubs down there. I know there's a lot of clubs from that area.
Yeah, it's a little more populated over that way, so they do definitely have a lot more. Even fish stores, the local fish stores, hour and 15 minutes from us, and they're moving.
Wow,
they're moving even farther away, hour and a half away, so hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, Ozzy lost his mom. Yeah, that's sort of when he quit YouTube as well. I think it was right around that time. Yeah.
So the closest store is hour and a half, and they're gonna move further.
Yeah.
But how often do you make it there? Once in a
month?
Often.
Yeah, once every 3 months or so. I buy almost all my fish online. But the store, it's called Rock Beach Aquatics. Right now, they're in Irondequoit, New York, but they're moving Henrietta. I can't remember where they're moving, but south of Rochester. They're supposed to be when he gets it done. They're moving to this new building. It's supposed to be the largest freshwater aquarium store in the U.S. It's supposed to be massive. So I'll definitely have to go up and make a video about it.
You got to make a trip once in a while there.
Yeah, just to see. I bought fish from him, and he reminds me a lot of Corey from the co-op because he doesn't just sell the fish. He brings them in. He's got quarantine areas in the back, and he takes his time with them. The plants he brings in, and he grows them underwater, makes sure that they melt, and when you buy them from him, they're ready to go. he does a lot of really good stuff for the hobby, but he's not really known on YouTube. He does have a YouTube channel too.
Okay. Now, you started with guppies. That was the first thing you got, you said?
Yeah, because again, I had them when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Now, what other fish are you keeping now?
Let's see, I have some Pea Puffers. I have some CPDs.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Bosemani rainbows.
Oh yes, they were coloring up the other day.
They're nice looking fish. They really are. I'm happy with how those turned out. And they're about a year old. They're probably about 13 months old. So they're still. I mean, you know how slow those Bosemanis grow. So they're not really juveniles, but they're still very young. I have roseline sharks, or Denison barbs, whatever you want to call them. I have some crebensis. I've got some albino bristlenose plecos. I have some gold laser cories. I have some panda cories. The Colombian red blue tetras. Red eye tetra. I just got some Pseudomagil luminatus, the smaller rainbows, the smaller rainbows. Those are just coming in. They're coming in this Friday. I've got a lot of mystery snails, shrimp. I've got a blue lobster. I think that's black ruby barbs, black red barbs, red black barbs, black ruby. I've got some barbs.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna say you like comparisons a lot. Like you started with live bears, but you don't have much live bears.
I still have 4 tanks of guppies. The one that you can see over here, I got the lights turned off, but that's Peter from Mob Guppy. I don't know if you know him. He has some swordtail guppies. That's what's in there. And those things breed like crazy. I mean, guppies breed like crazy, but these things are at another level. They just go crazy. I got them in December, and I had 5 of them, and there's probably 100 in that tank. It's overstocked. It really is. And that 75 that's right here is entirely fish fan. Everything that's in it came from. Except I have some Raphael spotted cats. They came from Aquatic Arts, but every other fish or plant that's in this tank was bought from a fish fan person. So that's an entirely fish fan tank. I love the idea of it.
That's the 75, right?
Yeah, that's my biggest tank.
Are you planning to put more tanks in there, or are you gonna wait till one of the rooms open up?
Well, I want to wait because again, it's 15 by 15. It's a decent sized room, but I think I'm going to put one right here behind me. I just do the cinder block and 2x4s. I'm going to build another rack right behind me because it's going to be a while before either my daughter or my youngest son move out. It's probably going to be a long time, so I won't be able to move downstairs probably for a good 5, maybe even 10 years. Who knows if I'll be alive in 10 years?
You still be around in 10 years. You'll be fine.
Well, I'm a lot older than I look. So yeah, I do want to build another rack. My wife's trying to talk me out of it. She thinks I'm going to be crowded in here because this is my office too. This is where I'm retired, but I still do a lot of freelance stuff. So I spend a lot of time in this room. So she thinks I'm going to be a little too crowded, but I don't have any more tank space, and I want more fish. You know how it goes.
Now, what you want to get? What would you like to get?
I still love the idea of heavily planted community tanks. So I like to put different things together that, they don't have to be from the same area. I'm not looking at just to do like South American fish or whatever, stuff like that. Just things that are compatible. So I want to get some different, don't get me started, just everything. Today I was looking at killifish. I want to do some killifish. There's a bunch of rainbows I'd like to get. I really like rainbow fish. A lot of different plecos that I'd like to, and I'd like to do some breeding too, because right now they're all community tanks other than the live bears, the guppies. So I'd like to get into some breeding. I'd like to, I am breeding the CPDs. I'm trying to right now. They're juveniles in the little 5-gallon here. But I'm hoping to breed those. Those will be my first egg scatters. So I want to get involved with that too. I want to put up a few 10-gallon tanks, 20 longs, and do some breeding.
Now, because I know you guys got a smaller so-called summer season up there.
Yeah.
You ever thought of doing any outside tubbing?
Yep, I want to this year, and it sort of snuck up on us. See, tomorrow's going to be 85 degrees, which for this time, that's probably going to be a record high. That's really warm. Nighttime will still be, low 60s, maybe even the 50s. Like tonight, it got up to like just under 80 today, but it'll be like 50 tonight, for overnight. So the season is very short, but I really, really want to do some summer tubbing. And that's what I'm going to look for at that fish swap. I'm looking for some white clouds, some white cloud minnows. I think I want to do those just because they are a little more hardy to colder water. They can deal with it.
Well, you can find some live bears too up there. If somebody's been doing them outside, you can get a good strain if I can handle it. Because really, 50 is not too bad for them. At night, because it is going to stay a little bit warmer than that in that container. It's not going to cool down to the 50s.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed what could survive out there. I have left fish out there without being taken care of for over a year, and they still kept breathing. And it got, we get down to the 30s sometimes, and they still survive.
Well, I'm thinking about, I have a cull tank that's right here. I've got a blue lobster in it too. It's a 45 tall. But it's all my cull guppies, and I think I want to put all of those males out there with maybe some of the females from Swordtails, and just see what I get. So I'll definitely guppies will definitely go out there too, but I'm thinking white clouds and maybe some rice fish too. In the front, I want to do just a little, just a little tub with a waterfall and stuff right by the front door. We have a little garden area by the front door, so I thought that'd be cool for the front. White
now,
clouds.
Do you ever see yourself getting into the cichlid fever or anything like that?
I do have the crebenzas. I can see maybe a pistos, but I think that's about it because the plants are a huge part of the hobby to me. They're almost as important as the fish to me. I really, really like it. Because when I was a kid, you didn't have plants. You had Elodia. At least the people that I knew that were raising fish, nobody really had plants because you didn't have nice lights and stuff. It's hard to grow plants like today. So plants are incredibly important to me. So if it was a cichlid that could, I know there's some out there that will do okay with plants, and I know there's ways around it. Maybe you get the co-op pot, something like that, But that's Robert. But that's about it, though. It'd have to be something that could deal with plants, and I'm really not interested in monster fish either. I like the more. It doesn't exactly have to be nano fish. Stuff that gets to be 4 or 5 inches long is okay, but that's about it. I like the smaller fish.
Okay, I see. Okay, so you're gonna go more the plant route. I like that. More decorated, nice planted tank. And there is a lot of variety of plants out there now. There is. You can really do some nice stuff. And I've seen that the technology has gotten easier to keep plants. These CO2 systems and everything now that they have, and lighting, and you could even make it to such a proper ecosystem where you don't even need CO2. People are actually sharing these tricks, and it's pretty neat.
I don't do any CO2 yet, and that 75 is really heavily planted, and it's doing great with those CO2.
Now, do you have are you doing deep substrates?
No, I do use Echo Complete, but I'm not going like the Father Fish route or anything like that. No, I just, it's a little deep, but it's not, it's 3 inches deep, maybe. So it's not huge, but I use Echo Complete in just about all the tanks. Partly because that's what I started with, and I liked how first tank took off with the Echo Complete. Rocco. So I really haven't tried any of the other substrates that are out there, but I do like the Echo Complete quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that substrate seems it gets some good reviews. It actually works pretty well, for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Now, what got you into plants? It was mainly just because other people don't have them, and it's something new for you, or did you just somebody really hooked you into plants?
I don't know. That's a great question. I honestly don't know what made me. Now I like plants anyways. I have, there's a big pothos right here behind me. It's hanging up and it's all the way to the ground. I've got, I got my. Usually this is sitting right next to me. My Norfolk Island pines. I got a 6-foot Norfolk Island pine off to the side over here that we've had for a long time. We actually used it as a Christmas tree when the kids were younger. I like plants anyways. Again, it's back to that nature thing, It makes me feel like I'm outdoors, which is where I love to be. That's my place. That's where I feel most myself is when I'm outside. So I think that's part of it.
More.
The aquascaping, I suck at it. I basically, I just throw plants in there, and I don't even hardly trim them. Just when it gets a little bit too much, there's people out there that do these amazing setups and they look so great. I'm like, I don't even try that. I don't even try it. I just, I put in some wood, and it works. It works.
But they didn't get there overnight,
yeah.
Watching them and learning, you could get there, especially because you enjoy nature and you've been out there in nature. You probably got some photo memories that you could probably create in a tank later on, It'd be pretty neat to do.
Yeah, it'll probably take me a while. I'm a lazy guy too, though, so
Like the cool thing that I like right now is what people doing with the dried up bonsai trees. Have you seen what they're doing with them?
Yeah,
that
like
is
putting
neat.
moss stuff on them, and yeah.
And making it into a bonsai tree, but inside the tank. That's really neat. I think that's real creative right there.
When I go collecting, that's what I'm looking for. Is like maybe a root system or something that's washed up on the shore. That's sort of got that look. In fact, I don't know if you can see it. Where's it at? It's over here. Nope, it's over here. That blue tub right there is filled with it's a whole bunch of different wood just soaking that I found on the beach. It's and some of it's pretty damn cool looking. Especially it's the best price. It's free. A lot of that stuff can be expensive. In the long run, you end up spending hundreds of dollars on your hardscape. But free is my favorite price.
Now, would you get into different live bears other than guppies? Molly's, Plastic Swords ever called your name?
I had them when I was kids. When I was a kid, I had them. I probably won't anytime soon. There are a couple. What's that? The Luminae. There's some that are interesting that I never kept when I was a kid, and I might go that route. But I hate to say this, but I'm even sort of over the guppies. I really I've got a 45 tall that's over here that has a strain that I got from I got those from Well Done tanks. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful guppies. I love them, but I'm just sort of over it. I think I want to get rid of the strain. I want to give them to somebody and do something different with that. 4 tanks. Again, I have 9 tanks. 2 of those are 5 gallons, and 4 of those tanks have guppies in them. So I think I want to get rid of at least a couple of the strains of guppies and put some different things in there. Probably none of the live bears though.
Yeah, it seemed like you like them kerosins more than barbs and rainbows. There's a lot of nice rainbows out there.
Yeah, there are. There's so many to choose from. So many.
Now,
small ones, big ones.
The rainbows you have right now, the other day that were coloring up for you and everything, did you ever put them up in there for them?
I have not so far, no. I probably will soon, though. I probably will. I don't know if I'll just throw one together real quick or buy one from someplace. But you know, there is a lot of there are a lot of plants in that tank too, and there's some that are pretty good for that. I haven't seen any breeding behavior from them though yet. But I do. That's actually what I want to breed next is those osmanis. Those are what I want to. So I will probably. I'm thinking about getting you know, maybe a 40 breeder or 20 long or something, just to put a pair in there. That I think that's going to be my next product. Actually, is actually because I haven't bred any of the egg scatters or egg layers. It's only been the live bears. So that's where I want to go next, and I'd love to do that with the Bosmanis, even though they take forever to grow up.
Yes, they do. Rob said he got turquoise and Australian rainbows. I'm hooked now.
They are awesome fish. Awesome fish. I love them.
They really are. So they're gonna be the second thing you ever bred, but really pretty much the first thing, because you know live bears don't really take much work. You know.
Yeah, you're not doing much there to help them.
The good thing about it, to me, it kind of gets people thinking and going about what else can they breed, because when they see live bears and they start seeing them little fry, you know, swimming, they start growing up and they're like, wow, I got more fish, and your tank starts exploding and again other stuff, your curiosity starts running like, can I breed these now? How can I breed these now? That's pretty neat.
Hooked on seeing it. I agree 100%. They are guppies. I think are a great gateway fish to bring people in the hobby. If you can learn how to keep them successfully. And people said they're not as hardy as they used to be. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but I've never had any issues other than I had a heater because it gets pretty cold here. So, and we keep the house pretty cold in the wintertime. So I do need to heat the tank separately. And I had a heater stick on and cook most of the fish in my first guppy tank. So that's the only thing I've lost so far was those ones. But I learned my lesson, and you can't see any now, but I bought controllers for all the tanks. So now they shut off when it hits a certain temperature. So now the heater can't get stuck on unless that controller fails as well. So I did learn my lesson from it.
See, the thing with live bears now is they became so popular in the hobby that there's such a big demand for them in stores. So every store you could think of, from big box to mom and pop, has them. It just depends where they get their live bears from, because if you get your live bears from a good source that's really calling, that's really making sure, you know, they can handle a little bit different temperature, are not over medicating fish, so now they're not immune to the stuff. When you use it, you get good strains. You get bad strains when people are just trying to pump fish out to get into the hobby, and you know, and they don't care the quality, they don't care about none of that stuff. They just care about, okay, I'm getting paid, so I just got to keep pumping fish. So it really varies where you get, and you know, the whole big box store puts such a bad reputation on quality of fish that they keep, you know.
And I think I was lucky that way, because my very first guppies that I got were from Guppy Guru, Peter. Those are my very first ones that I bought, and then my second ones were from Trevor from Well Done Tanks. Trent. I always forget his first name. From Well Done. So both of those guys, you know, they're good breeders. They do care about the fish, and they're exactly what you just described. They're not people that are just pumping them out. They're people that are taking the time to treat the fish right and stuff. Almost everything I have in here has been bought online from. You know, I did buy from Aquatic Arts, and I bought a bunch of times from Aquahuna, who are a wholesaler. But everything else I have has come directly from like Dan's Fish, you know, Get Gills. I haven't bought anything from you. Maybe I need to rectify that.
What do you need? You want some? I got some nice rams right now. I got some really nice rams.
See, I thought about rams too. They were on my short list when I was building the 75. I was thinking about rams, pistos and rams. I was thinking about you know, I went with the crebensis and the rose lines are together in there.
These rams that I got, since they've been bred here in the U.S. for such a long time, and they've been raised in actual well water, they do fine in any type of water you put them. So they're not as iffy as some of the rams that you get. And that's the reason why I picked up this strain, because it's a good strain and we've been
Gotcha.
working with it. Got some really nice rams.
Is your water,
huh?
is your water harder or softer, or where, you know?
It's harder. It's harder water.
Same here. I'm on a well, so that sounds perfect. We need to talk afterwards. Maybe I'll end up getting some more fish that I don't really need, and will make my wife unhappy with me.
I gotta send you some you need some swordtails in your life.
I don't know. You know, I like them, but I just I don't know. I don't think I want to go that route. I don't know why. Same with angels. I don't really. Angels are awesome. I like them.
My two favorite fish right there. One and two just got.
Oh man. Well, it was nice meeting everybody. See ya. Good night.
Now, I love angels. To me, angels are just, I mean, the beauty of them, you know, they're not your common shaped fish and everything. Yeah. And just the way they'll come up to the tank and interact, and breeding them, I love looking at them and seeing how protective they really get of their babies. So angels are me and my wife that's our number one fish. That's what we put on our logo, and that's why we, you know, love doing them. But the second one is swordtails. I love the males, so more the males than the females. But when I breed, I always look at more of my females than my males.
Gotcha.
A lot of people don't look at that in breeding. I learned that from an old breeder and from breeding dogs. Look at your females. If you got a beautiful, beautiful female with a nice male, you're going to get some real nice babies. Don't just breed any old looking female.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what it is about angels. I mean, I did keep them when I was a kid. I think they're beautiful too, but I don't know. I just haven't wanted to keep it yet. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about.
You might just have to get a surprise bag in the mail, and then you just have to
and then I'll be hooked.
Then he just
got it with Aquahuna. That's where I got mine from as well. I like Aquahuna. A lot of people don't like them because they're a wholesaler, but I've had really good luck. I've ordered from them 13 times now, I think. And I had one fish come in dead, and they took care of it right away. And that was one of these little CPDs. They took care of it right away. So they've got good customer service. I mean, they shipped me. What did I get from them in January? Oh, Pea Puffers. I bought 6 Pea Puffers from them. They shipped them in January from Washington State to, you know, here upstate New York. No issues at all. They came in perfect. I didn't have any issues with them. So I have a lot of trust with them.
I like the Pea Puffers. I like your Pea Puffers. You got some nice ones. And every time I go in a fish store, I look at them, and they're nice. And never pulled the trigger on them yet. But yeah, I like Pea Puffers.
Why haven't you? Do you just have too much other stuff, or just
too much? Because if I keep them, I would like to keep them in another nice display tank, in more like inside the house. Yeah. And I already got 2 tanks inside the house, and that's enough. You know, I don't have room to put a third one inside. So in the garage, I keep all my other stuff, and it's stuff, you know, I'm breeding or I'm bringing in from the farm or something like that. So that's what's mainly in the garage. And, you know, I don't want to keep them outside, you know, with my other stuff that I keep outside. So I'm like, I'll pull the trigger when I could have a tank just for them, you know, just to enjoy.
Yeah, that's how mine are. It's a 29, and there's actually 8 of them in there total, 8 Pea Puffers, and 2 clown flecos. And that's it. That's all that's in the tank. And yeah, I agree. They do need to be in something better than well, like what's behind you there. That's obviously more of a working fish room type thing. They definitely need to be in a
we just started this. This is not even 3 days old, but right now, you know, I got some rams. I got some platies over here. I got some rainbow shark. I got over here is some Geophagus brasiliensis, the pearl geos.
Yeah.
And then I got a whole bunch of black skirts. Got some Texas cichlids down here. I'm gonna have more of medium-sized cichlids in this whole bottom row. You know, having those. And up top, I have a few strain of guppies. I have some black Moscow and some purple mosaic Dumbos.
See those. You know, I see those guppies, and I'm like, man, those are beautiful, and I still want them. I still want them, but I'm not going to do any more guppies. Jay Oliver said, "Let me send you some guppies." I don't want any more, man. Hey,
oh, too, I have some
Rick. Sorry.
Some gold longfin Daniels.
Oh, those are nice. Those are nice.
They're still young. They're still small and everything, but I got about maybe like 40 right now. You know, sell a few, and I might keep a few for a tank that I'm gonna redo inside. I want a nice school of them. I was thinking, you know, probably about 14, 16 of them in a 55. Schooling together would look nice.
Yeah. You know, people are, a lot of other Fish Fam members are saying, well, why don't you get something that nobody else has? You know, why don't you get some things that are a little more rare and stuff? But I'm so new to the hobby, really. I mean, I don't count when I was a kid. You know, I really don't. It's only been a year. Everything's new to me. You know, so sure, everybody else might have it, but I've never had it. So there's so many things to choose from. There's so many different fish to choose from. You know, and I want to have them all, just like most of you. I'm sure everybody in here is the same way. You want to have, like, you know, just about every type of fish there is. You know, you want to experience them and learn how to take care of them correctly, get them to breed, and, you know, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. And you see, in the hobby, you pretty much, I tell people, keep what you like and keep what works for you. You know what I mean? Because there are gonna be certain fish that's just not gonna work for some reason in your fish room. You know, either not compatible or they just don't work in the water or something. So the best thing you can always do is keep what you like, because at the end of the day, you gotta enjoy those tanks. You know, you gotta enjoy your tank.
Yeah, definitely. And I followed that advice. I really have, because I you know, I don't get any kind of fish that we have incredibly hard water. So it's gotta be a fish that at least can, maybe not breed, but at least can and be happy in hard water. You know what I mean? Even stuff that's in towards the middle, I just don't even try and deal with. I stick to the stuff that can deal with the hard water. You know, I don't want to have to jump through everything to change my water that way. You know, I love being able to take the water right out of the well. I don't have to worry about chlorine or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
you know,
ain't that great?
You know, no treating it or anything. You know, it's ready to go. But I don't want to chase parameters and stuff. I want to try and get fish that will do well in my water.
You see, I got to the point where I stopped chasing the parameters. I stopped even looking at my parameters. I figured it out. I know how, you know, the little changes that happen during rainy season and dry season, you know, but I don't condition my water at all, because I don't need to. The fish are thriving and they're breeding in this hard water. That's what I try to explain to you. If they working, they're breeding, they're living, they're doing fine, don't go chasing parameters. Don't go overstressing yourself every day. Just do your water changes like you're supposed to do what you got to do, and they're going to work out fine.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. 100%.
Now, earlier you was talking about nature. You used to go hiking and all that stuff. You were real big into the whole going down the trail in the middle of the nowhere and camping out and all that good stuff.
Yep. Kayaking. I love to kayak. Kayaking was my thing before I was diagnosed with an illness. I mean, I would kayak. By now, I'd already have 100 miles and I would kayak. You know, and the water was frozen, you know, a month and a half ago. I do thousands of miles in my kayak every year. You know, I just love kayaking. I kayak way out into the middle of Lake Ontario, so you can't even see any shore. You know, it's just you and the waves. You know, on a lot of days it's not even waves. It's just so calm. It's like glass. You know, it's not like, you know, it's just a very gentle. You know, just go out there and sit where you don't see any land, and it's good for you. You know, it's good for you. But yeah, I definitely, you know, nature's where it's at. Hiking, camping, all that stuff is who I was. Not so much today. I miss it. I miss it so much.
Did you ever fish in Lake Ontario?
Yeah, I'm not a big fish guy. I still go once in a great while. But I never really fished way out in the lake. Usually I just go right in, the bay right there and fish. What's funny is my son-in-law, my daughter just got married this past year, and my son-in-law is British. He actually lives in the UK. He's still working on his citizenship, but he comes over every year and stays with us for 90 days on a visa. And last year was the first time he ever went fishing in his life. He had never been fishing before, and he just absolutely he fished every day. After he went his first time, he fished every single day that he was here. He just absolutely loved it. And he has his own kayak now, and he has like 15 different poles here, and he's got all kinds of bait and stuff. He dove into it head first, so it was awesome to be able to expose him to that, Danny kid.
Now, what's some good eating fish out of that lake? I see Rob says smallmouth bass. What other good stuff you got in there?
The pike, salmon. There's actually salmon up here. It's a different kind of salmon than they have, by Danny at the Northwest. I can't remember what it was, but even the bluegills. I like bluegills. They're hard to clean, but I like the way they taste. Geez, I'm drawing a blank right now. See, I didn't do it that much. No, I know there's a lot of big turtles and stuff out there too.
You guys got problems with the carps up there, or no?
Not so much right here, but I know it is a problem with like the Asian carp and stuff. Not so much, in our little bay and stuff here. But I know it is an issue in the area. But we don't want to hear about it too much here.
Oh, Rob knows. He said, co-host.
Perch.
He said this is perch.
Yeah. Pickerel. He's going to give us a whole list.
He's probably been fishing here.
I do enjoy fishing, but I never was I wouldn't consider myself a fisherman or somebody, I'd never enter a competition or any of that. I don't go ice fishing. I see the guys on the bay ice fishing all the time, but I don't know. It's fun, but I never really got into it real heavy.
Now you said New York earlier that your closest store is moving. Now, have you been to any of the stores on the other side of the border?
Oh, in Canada?
Yeah.
No, never. I actually haven't been to Canada in probably a good 12 years, maybe even longer. Yeah, the only fish store that I've been to, other than we have a place up here called Country Max, which is it's like a Tractor Supply type store. Excuse me. And one of the fish fam actually manages one that's not too far from me. I didn't even know they had fish in there at first. Cassie's Critters. She doesn't do too much on YouTube anymore. She's on Instagram, but she actually is the manager for the live animals. So I've been in there, and I've been to a Petco, and then that Rock Beach Aquatics. That's it. That's the only fish stores I've set foot in. Almost everything's online. That's where it all, that's where I get all my stuff. There's Roxanne.
And it's more convenient for people now, especially after this whole pandemic. You see a lot more people moving more onto the order everything they need, even for the hobby online. So that has been a big thing.
Yeah, it is nice. Just not having to go anywhere, even though you're not getting your fish the same day. It's usually within within a week. And you run some risk, with stuff getting lost and shipping and boxes getting messed up, stuff like that. But overall, again, almost everything in my fish room has been bought online. Just about. There's only been a few things I bought. My blue lobster that makes Robert laugh. Got that from a Country Max. And Rob said Cassie has such a passion. And you know what? There's two Country Max stores by us. There's one that's it's about halfway between here and that fish store I told you about. And then there's another one that's south of us it's about 45 minutes away. And there's a huge difference between those two stores. The one that's south of us, the tanks just don't look good. I've seen dead fish in there. They just, you know, they don't take care of it. But you go to Cassie's store, and those tanks are looking beautiful. It even smells healthier. I mean, you can tell that she's doing a good job of managing it. So, you know, that's those big pet stores. That's really what it comes down to, is how much the person who's taking care of it cares. You know, Petco's can be awesome if you get the right guy running it, or girl.
That is true. There's some out there that are real nice. You know, they got the right people, the right employees, which in any business makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, earlier you told me you had an aviary. What type of birds were you into?
You know, budgies, cockatiels, finches, lovebirds. Those were all in there together. Zebra finches, the little tiny guys. They're like, you know, it's so cool. But mostly the cockatiels were the big thing. I had one of them for about 12 years. And he actually, he got loose. We were going somewhere. We were going on vacation. So actually to figure out where to move, up here or Chicago area. And he was in a cage, and I hit the side of the car with the cage on accident. Something happened, and I hit, and the bottom of the cage fell off, and he flew away. Well, we did our vacation, and we came back, and I was walking my oldest son to school. He was in 2nd grade. He's 30 now, so that's how long ago it was. I was walking him to school, and Barney came down and sat on the fence. He looked really fat and happy, and I didn't pick him up. You know, I put my finger out, he got on my finger, and I was like, man, he looks really healthy and good. And they can survive in Arizona. And I know they're not, you know, I probably helped with a invasive species, but he just looks so healthy. I just let him go, and I never saw him again. But, you know, I thought that was pretty cool that he came back to me after, you know, it was probably 4 or 5 months later from when he escaped.
He probably got like 40, 50 babies now running around in Arizona.
Yeah. I probably started something there.
Yeah, down here, I mean, we see parrots loose all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, people let them loose and they survive, but
everything cool survives. Down there, everything survives. You guys have a ton of places.
Oh, man, it's insane.
Patty said that's a mess.
That's a big hobby, the bird hobby and everything. That's why earlier I was asking you that, because people get real big into the bird hobby, and that's growing too.
And I do like them. I could see maybe in the future getting something, maybe some little budgies or parakeets, you know, or maybe some of those zebra finches, something small, or cockatiels. I probably wouldn't go, you know, any of the big cockatoos or any of the big, you know, big birds, but. Patty, I'm laughing at Patty. Yeah.
Oh, she said you're not done with that story.
We ain't done with this. I'll be hearing about that one for a while. He was happy and healthy, Patty. That's all that matters.
True.
So I could probably, you know, maybe in the future. Right now, the fish are definitely my focus, though. You know, and I am retired, so I do have a lot of time on my hands, but. I'm lazy as hell too. You know, I'm a lazy guy, so I got to really, you know, focus on what I do in my hobby, so that I'm making sure that I'm not overwhelming myself. And like you talked about earlier, you have to really like the stuff, otherwise you're probably not going to take care of it as well.
Yep, that's the truth. Now, since you're so big and gotten so big into plants, what's your favorite plant right now? Oh.
You know, I still think it's a Lodia. I have some right here. I wish this is on the computer, so I can't really show you. I have a little shrimp tank right here, and it's filled with it. And I think the only reason it's my favorite is because it was the only plant I had when I was a kid. But the Poga stem and octopus, that stuff grows like crazy for me. I have there's a I don't think she has a channel, but you see her in a lot of the streams. Her name was Kelly Foreman. And one day she hit me up on Instagram and said, hey, you know, I noticed you like the plants. Would you like me to send you some? I was like, sure, yeah, I love plants, you know. And she wouldn't let me pay for shipping or anything. And she sent me a huge shoebox just filled with plants, just all kinds of different ones. And man, so it's hard to really choose, man. There's so many cool plants. And there's so many I haven't, there's so many cool crypts and
Talking about which one would you love to get next? If you had a choice right now to get a new plant, what would it be? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got so many right now. I probably have 30 different plants. I don't have an answer for that. I honestly don't have an answer for which one I would have to spend some time to research that question and figure it out. I have no answer for you. There's not one that just sticks out that that makes you go, oh, that is so cool. They're out there, but I already have most of the ones that I really, really like.
You see, I've been looking at the red melon swords.
Yeah. Those are, I do like the different swords.
I like the way they look. I think they will look nice in an angelfish tank with some, with some of that to give it some color. I like the way they look. And in floating plants too, I've been looking. They're red too, but floating red rooters. I've been thinking about getting some and putting those outside.
Man, I have a ton of water lettuce.
Patrick, to answer your question, I actually do. And I always tell everybody, my webpage is not the prettiest webpage in the world. I created this myself. But you can really see the fish on my videos, anything like that. Like if you really want to see, I haven't gotten good at taking pictures. That's my problem right now.
Yeah, I'm not the best either.
I'm having such a difficult time trying to get good pictures of the fish. It actually has been a job for me that I can't master yet.
Well, I'm with you. I don't try too hard. I just don't have the patience to. If I'm, like the guppies, they move so much. It's, I know I could take them out and put them maybe in like a specimen container or something and try and get pics, but the floating plants, I have so much water lettuce. Chattanooga Ed sent me 3 of them, and now every tank I have, I throw it away. I'm throwing it away because I have so much of the stuff, and it grows just, huge. It's massive.
Out here, you go to the ditch and pick water lettuce. Like
in
the stores, you can't sell them to the store. You can't go picking water lettuce and try and sell it to the store either and stuff like that. But there's not even a market for it. You go outside in any pond, you find water lettuce.
Yeah.
And you find places where it's just covered for miles, tons of water lettuce.
Now, is that invasive for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of plants that are invasive out here too.
Yeah.
I could do a 3-hour live stream just about invasive fish in Florida. Or just, it gets real big into it. Now,
Rob just said in there about KGE Aquatics. The only thing, and I hate to say this, but the only reason I haven't bought from him yet is because he doesn't actually have a website to buy from that you have to message him on Facebook. I see a bunch of people talking about him. I know Mike's Fish Room, he talks about him. I know that he has quality products, but if I can't go to a website and put in an order, I don't usually buy from places. It's the same thing with the Wet Spot. Wet Spot, everybody talks about. It's out there on the West Coast. It's supposed to be a great store. They have great fish. I even had a $25 gift card, but I didn't buy from because you can't just go place an order. So I gave that gift card to Kenny, to Daniken, because he lives pretty close to it. So yeah, I did see his site was in the work. I saw he, and I do follow him on Facebook. But as soon as he gets his store up and running, I'll take a look. That's just me. Again, I'm lazy. Nothing against him.
We got a few people coming in at the end. What's up, Funk? How you doing? I saw Gramps. How you doing, bro?
Some names I don't know. I don't think I know Gramps. So hey,
he's
nice
from my area and everything. I think you know Funk. He's from down here too. TV, the Freeze. That's a good amount of people in the chat. Now we're getting towards the end. We hit that hour mark again. I like to tell everybody thank you for sitting here and giving us an hour of your time, watching us just talk and everything. I like to end my live stream with one good piece of advice. And since you're fairly new in the hobby, give me one good piece of advice you could give somebody trying to pick up this hobby right now.
Patience. Patience. Don't, you know, I'm horrible. I don't have a lot of patience. Take your time. Don't just go, don't put your tank up and go buy fish. Find out about the nitrogen cycle. Get out there, do your research on your fish. Don't just treat your fish like something to throw away. So, you know, it's all about that patience. You know, take your time, learn as you go, and don't ever, and we've all done it, right? But don't ever just buy a fish on impulse. Do your research first. You owe it to the fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. Patience.
Patience and do your research. Now, you got any plugins? I know you do a live stream. It was yesterday, right? Every Thursdays you do them?
I do too, actually. One of them's not fish related though. Chattanooga Ed and I do a stream on Monday nights about comic books. It's what we call it the Geek Out. We do comic books and movies and TV and all geek culture. So not fish related. Once in a while we touch on fish topics, but most of the time it's not fish at all. So, you know, it's definitely a limited appeal, you know. And then Tuesday nights I do an interview stream where I do just like we just did tonight. Bring up somebody that you know, that I followed or interacted with in some way, and get to learn more about them. And again, even on that stream, we don't really focus on fish. Really, we focus on who the person is. You know, what other hobbies they have. Basically, what we just did tonight. It's the same type of thing, you know, as what you and I just did. It's the same basic idea. Just getting to know people.
I got to check out the comic book stream because I like, you know, I was in that era. I read the comic books, and I see the movies now coming out, and I'll be explaining to kids the difference and why they doing this, and I can see that the switches that they do. But yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, come check us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Now we can find you on YouTube and Instagram. Are you doing Facebook?
I mean, I'm on there, but I really don't use it. The only thing I use Facebook for is, you know, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, you know, message me or something. It's Rikostan, Rico space Stan on there. You know, Instagram, I just same way. I don't really post too much on those on social media other than Facebook or other than YouTube. YouTube's really about it. But if anybody wants to, you know, get a hold of me for whatever reason, you know, I'll just put it in the chat up. I'll just throw my email. I don't care if it's out there. I'll just put it in the chat here. So if there's any reason, anything I can do, you know, hit me up at that email address. And, you know, I love answering questions. I do have stickers, you know, I'm interested in that kind of thing. I know a lot of the fish fam loves their stickers. So I've got
oh, yeah, they do.
A whole roll of my ugly face right there. You get to see. So hey, man, this was a lot of fun. So I really appreciate you having me come up.
Man, I appreciate you joining us tonight and everything. We definitely got to do it again.
Yeah, but we'll have to talk about it. But I definitely need to have you come up on the interview too, so I can put you in the hot seat a little bit.
Okay, we're gonna set that up. Well, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Rico, for joining us. And like always, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Everybody have a blessed night.